All right, Nick, let's talk about the Denver Broncos. The Broncos have been making all kinds of moves ever since Sean Payton has come into town. And I think there's another one today that is something the Broncos fans should be excited about.
Yeah, Miles, ever since Payton has joined the fold there in Denver, they've been making a lot of smart moves. It seems they're turning around this franchise very quickly after the Hackett disaster. But we've talked about the Broncos a number of times this offseason, making a lot of really smart moves. But we want to hear from the Broncos fans specifically in the comment section below. Look, we know this time of the free agency period, a lot of these big pundits on ESPN or NFL.com or whatever, they give out their grades for how teams are doing so far. But, those guys don't really know what they're talking about. We know who does know what they're talking about, and that's you guys, Broncos fans. And that's why we want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Give us your grade to this point of the Broncos offseason, whether it's an A+ or D-, whatever it is. Let us know how you think the Broncos have been doing in the comment section below. But all right, Miles, what you got? What's the latest out of Denver?
Yeah, Nick, so we all know that Sean Payton, legendary coach of the New Orleans Saints, he had a lot of great players over on the Saints. So it only makes sense that since he has moved to Denver, he may be eyeing some of his old players, Nick, and that is no different. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN was the first to report this via tweet that the Broncos were at the time planning to sign, now have signed, Marquez Callaway from New Orleans. He is reuniting with head coach Sean Payton, who in 2021, Callaway had his career high year, 46 catches, 698 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. He was very electric in Sean Payton's offense. I think this guy could be special because not only can he catch balls, Nick, but he's also been a punt returner in college, and he's pretty good at that. So they might be giving him reps there as well if they need to. But I think this is a really good move. There's a couple different reasons we'll get into in a minute. But what do you think about the Callaway signing?
So the genius of Sean Payton throughout his time in New Orleans, this is my personal opinion, was he was able to develop elite-level offenses with a revolving door of playmakers, right? Everyone wants to talk about whether it's Michael Thomas or Jimmy Graham. You go back to the days of Marquez Callaway, but he always seemed to be able to swamp in talented playmakers left and right, just year after year. That's just what his ability was to do as a coach. Great in terms of structuring plays, great in terms of play calling and managing the flow of the game. And I love the fact that he brings in Callaway. He's familiar with Callaway's skill set. He knows where he can use them in the course of a game plan, over the course of a single game, a single drive, a single season. And that's going to be huge for this offense going forward, Miles, because getting that familiarity down with knowing what players can do what will allow Sean Payton to kind of ease that transition. Because one of the issues with Payton coming to Denver, right, is when he was with the Saints, he basically had a decade plus of familiarity with the entire team, the entire organization, a lot of the players, where even if pieces moved in and out, he knew a lot of everybody's skill sets where he could work around it. That's not the case with Denver. Obviously, it's his first time with the team. So bringing in guys he's familiar with, I think, is a great sign that he'll be able to manage this offense effectively going forward. And he's not just doing it at skill positions like wide receiver either, Maya. So according to Pro Football Talk, Sean Payton actually brought in his former senior defensive assistant Joe Vitt to join the coaching staff as well. Vitt, people will remember, actually was the interim head coach when Payton was suspended during Bountygate. The Broncos have also brought back guys that Russell Wilson is familiar with, signing an offensive lineman. I believe Kyle Fuller is his name. Yep, Kyle Fuller from the Seattle Seahawks, who was a depth guy when Russell Wilson was there in Seattle as well. So it looks like Payton and how they're managing the team is bringing a lot of familiarity there. So that way Payton and Russell Wilson both know what to expect from the guys on the field, and that'll be huge for them when they're building up game plans, when they're practicing, and, of course, when they're playing on Sundays.
Yeah, Nick, and I think one other sneaky move that Payton has already shown his prowess as a head coach, but in this general manager head coach collective over at the Broncos, another smart move about a guy like Callaway is don't have to leverage a lot to get him, yet this allows you to move off one of these other big name guys on your team, either Cam Sutton or Jerry Jeudy. I know people might not want those guys to leave, but the Broncos need draft capital. They gave away a lot to get Russell Wilson, and they need to kind of recoup that because obviously it took a little bit more building around Russell Wilson than people thought to be able to make this team fit, and I think Payton sees that. So this now allows you to have a solid number 2 receiver in Callaway, but you can move off of a guy like Sutton, like Jerry Jeudy, and get some of your draft capital back. So I just think this is a really forethought sight here, and they're able to go ahead and plan for the future while also getting a solid player in Callaway.